The best God of War Ragnarok review on a small part of the internet that will ever exist. Christopher Judge. Probably. God of War Ragnarok was released recently last month, and I have finally finished it. Well, as close to 100% as I am willing to get. I've got other stuff to do with my life. This is the 9th installment of the God of War franchise, and after the success of the 2018 God of War, I was very curious to see how good Ragnarok could be. Spoiler alert, it's very good. Let's start with story. So we enter in after several winters, I guess. It's not really clear what time has passed. However, it is clear that time has passed because Atreus is a little man now. I say that like he's probably 16, 17. It's not very clear, but that's fine. He's definitely older right now. So time has definitely passed since the events of God of War 2018. They are then have a visit from some people, and the story takes off from there. I'm going to try to keep this as spoiler-free as possible because this game is definitely one of those things you should experience. The story's fantastic. It takes turns and twists. There's a lot of setups and payoffs, which is, every good story. But the amount of setups and payoffs and how emotionally fulfilling that those things are, it is incredible. The last 3 hours of this game, I'm pretty sure I cried at least 4 times. It's fantastic. The gameplay is so incredible. There's some fluidity that is present in this one that was not necessarily present in the 2018 one. The ways that you can upgrade all of your equipment, your armor, some of the new weapons and things that you get, being able to upgrade certain skills of multiple characters. This game goes so much farther than the God of War 2018 does. Everything is absolutely enhanced in general, by music. Bear and his soundtrack and the orchestra that he commands absolutely blows it out of the water. If you are not here for the gameplay, if you're not here for the story, at least listen to the soundtrack. It is incredible. The composing is just out of this world. It's no secret that Bear is really good at what he does, but this definitely, if there was any questions, this was definitely the answer to anybody's questions of whether or not Bear is a good composer or not. All of the voice acting is incredible. All the motion capture is incredible. There's very, very, very few times where, especially during the main story, that somebody is not talking. And that sounds like, I personally, there's times I like the silence, but by the time you get to the end of the game and all of the kind of voice lines are kind of done or whatever, the silence is so deafening. Mimir becomes less of a head on your hip and more of your best friend that you just talk to all the time. And it's fantastic, and it's actually kind of sad when you don't hear him talk all the time. They do a really good job of making the world, every single realm that you visit, feel like it's lived in, feel like it's real, that Kratos has a actual effect on these places. I think one of the things that this game and the God of War franchise has always done pretty well is they play with scale a lot. And it's very, very interesting, and it's so fascinating to see in a almost purely visual medium how they mess with your mind as far as scale and things like that. Like the first time you meet, he's in the trailer, but the first time you meet Tyr, and he's towering above you, is terrifying and also cool. There's a lot of really, really, really interesting things that they do in this movie in this game with scale. That being said, nothing's perfect. Sometimes the menu at towards the beginning of the game, before you kind of get used to where everything is. The menu is it has some weird wonky things that you have to get used to. But once you get used to them, it's no problem. For those who are coming off Elden Ring, your dodge button is X, not O. So yeah, that's going to cause some issues. But once you get kind of used to it, you're fine. There's some puzzles in this game that are not necessarily intuitive. You have to sit there for a few minutes sometimes and try a few things out before you can really before you can really complete the puzzle. There's definitely a fine line when it comes to puzzles in games, as all right, cool, so a player should be able to figure this out in 5 minutes or so, but there was definitely several that I had to look up because it wasn't necessarily, the answer wasn't obvious enough. Now, I say that knowing that one of the running jokes I had with this game whenever I was telling other people about it is I don't know if it's hard or if I'm just terrible. It's probably because I'm terrible. But with that being said, the difficulty can be a little tricky. If you're not someone like me who I don't tend to play games on a harder difficulty, just because at the end of the day, I want to enjoy the game. I'm here for the story. But this game can, if you are not careful, absolutely go full Doom Eternal on you, where you are redoing boss fights 7, 10, sometimes in my case 25 times, just because it can be so difficult. There's definitely a rhythm to every boss. There's definitely but at the same time, just like as in there's an answer to every attack, and there's a way to defend against every attack. If you miss a parry, if you dodge right into a blast or something, this game will absolutely make you pay for it. So it definitely, in much of the way that Kratos treats Atreus, it demands perfection, especially later in the game. Now, I just fixed that by lowering the difficulty, but it is what it is. I like I said, I was here for the game, for the story, here to see what was going to happen to Kratos and Atreus / Loki. It's fantastic. It's a good, incredible game. The cons are definitely incredibly outweighed by the pros. The gameplay is still just as fun, if not more fun than all of its predecessors. The music is the best it's ever been. The motion capture is the best it's ever been. While it is not a perfect game, it definitely is so close to 1. 9.5 out of 10. And I sing the praises of this game to everybody. I still think it's better than Elden Ring, but that's me. So what did you guys think? Have you guys played through God of War Ragnarok yet? If not, are you going to? Or are you going to do what I did after I played through and went and watched Jacksepticeye play it? If you like what you see and you want to see more, hit the subscribe button, like this video. We have a podcast, the Uncharted Media Podcast, Nathan and I. And if you want to check it out on Spotify, we post it here on YouTube. It's on literally everywhere you find your podcasts on, so check us out there as well. Our goal, we just recently hit 700 subscribers, so we're excited to go and hit our next goal for 1,000 subscribers. So if you want to stay for that journey and help us get along the way, absolutely subscribe. Leave a comment down below as far as what you thought about the game, if you've played the game so far. But yeah, dude, come hang out with us all the time. We appreciate you guys. Stay sharp, movie fans.